Still on the view, you don't see anything from it. Still on the view, YouTube.
Say again?
In YouTube.
Yes.
It doesn't comes up there.
What do you mean? I don't know.
We don't see anything from YouTube when we go there. Only
No, you guys, have anybody gone to see the videos?
It's on your website. It's
Yeah, there's a link on my website to the videos.
Yeah,
if you go to YouTube, my username is Waller is me.
Yeah, but I've seen that Math 88, Math something else, but I didn't see Math 160.
Oh yeah, there's some Math 160s. Has anybody gone to the videos yet?
Yeah.
I think I've seen a few people. Yeah, so you got to be careful. You just got to scan down for Math 160. So it's up there. I think the Math 88s and those are longer classes. So I have part 1, part 2, so they kind of dominate when you look.
Mm-hmm.
But here there are some Math 160s. In fact, some of the early ones are in high definition because I forgot that I had my camera set to like crazy resolution. So I was the first day I kind of ran out of space before my other class was over. I'm like, oh crap. So they're not going to be in high definition from now on. I don't know if you want to see me in high def. You're seeing me right now in high def. So let's see. Which was the question from the?
It's number 19 from 1.4.
What page is that?
Page 24.
Just turn it one more page.
19 says, Good Housekeeping Magazine invited women to visit its website to complete a survey, and 1,500 responses. Good sample, right? When asked whether they would rather have more money or more sleep, 88% chose more money, and 11% chose more sleep, and 1% said, I must have more. Based on these results, what can we conclude about the population of all women? Yeah, so some people claim that's a trick question. Nah, a little bit. I mean, you can't say a damn thing about all women. Why?
Because it's a voluntary.
Yeah, it's a voluntary response sample. Yes, sir. No. And there's something even worse. It's not worse, but there's something that goes along with that. Yeah, they have to read the magazine to even possibly be included in the invitation, and then they have to want to reply. So they have to feel strongly about it one way or the other. So maybe the people that wanted more sleep were too tired to care, and that's why it came out to be more money.
Which number you are talking?
Page 24, number 19. So it's definitely voluntary response sample, VERS, right? And you can say a little bit more. You've got to actually read the magazine to even possibly be in this sample anyway in the first place. So all those things could skew the results.
Oh, and you have to have access to the web.
Exactly. You have to have internet access. So there's a lot of little things you can say about this problem. So the results seem, if you just focus on the 1,500, they like to do that. You chose a huge sample. Ooh, it doesn't matter how big it was. They might all be skewed one way or the other. Or a decent percentage of them could throw the results off. You just don't know. Now, let me just say this real quick. You always don't know for sure. That's what I keep saying about statistics. But people will only trust your data if you make every attempt in the world to make it truly random, so that you're not having some built-in bias. Yes, sir.
Is there like something like an ambivalence thing where it's like if you do ask people randomly on the street or whatever, then they just answer because they don't care?
Oh yeah.
So would that also be a flaw in like?
Oh yeah. So trust me, there's a lot of classes on effective correction for the different types of problems people have with surveys. There's actually a series of questions you can ask to determine the probability that the person is lying to you, or and they're all probabilities, but the whole thing is probabilities.
Yeah.
But they've gotten it down to a pretty good science. And I don't know if you're political junkies. The last couple of presidential elections, some of you guys were probably 8 years old back in 2000, but there was obviously huge controversy about the hanging chads and all that. And the exit poll said one thing, and then the results said another. I don't know if you guys know about that. You've read about it in your history books now. Shit. But I remember it all too well, being in the air for like 5 months after the election, who the hell won. But the exit polls normally are really good. They've got it down to a pretty good science, and that's where the controversy came from.
Was it 5 months? Like nobody?
It was it wasn't 5 months. It was November, December. We had to know by January, so I think it was like 2.5 months or something crazy, but it felt like years. Anyway, So again, most of you guys are probably 6, 7, 8, 3. Okay, makes you feeling better. All right. So any other? Is that good? I want to show you something real quick, and then I have a little group work for you guys to do. First thing I want to show you is data from this class. I still have 2 people that did the information survey but didn't fill out the anonymous survey, so maybe you just don't want to give me any data, which is fine. But I want to show you something really interesting. Remember that question I asked about pick a random number? Maybe you have an idea why I did that. I was hoping nobody would know. And you're all like, we just did that because it's a statistical thing and, probability and...
To make an example of how humans suck at picking random numbers.
That's a good... I like that. It would be difficult to do that. Here's the funny thing. What do you think is the number that nobody picked?
2.
See, now, of course, that's a weird question if you think about it. Everybody's going to have a different opinion. The number that... well, I'm sorry, let me say it the other way around. What do you think people pick the most?
5.
7.
I heard a couple 7s, and it's 7. And it's always 7. Always 7. Always. If I said pick a number from 0 to 20, I would need maybe a little bit bigger sample size the more numbers I give a range, but it's either 7 or 17. Because the brain says, all right, I don't want to pick an even number. Everybody's going to pick an even number. I want to be unique. I want to pick something. Nobody's going to pick 7. Yeah, nobody's going to pick 7. So we pick it. And then everybody freaking picks 7 for that reason. It's interesting. So real quick, I want to show you. It's not a histogram. In fact, right now, I'll get the website. But it is a bar graph of the results. What's really neat to me, I've never seen 8 get such a bump up. Which is interesting. I mean, almost anything can happen in any sample. But the nifty thing, the thing that's really good evidence that there's something to this is every time I've done this, 7 has been the highest bar. It's really interesting. So there's a little insight into the brain about how we perceive randomness and what we think about it, and it really leads us in the real world to making incorrect decisions. And that's the way our brain just isn't set up for that. Yeah.
This is one of the things I was confused about on Monday. You have gaps between things.
That's fine. What did I just say? This is not a histogram.
Oh.
This is a bar graph. So these are more like labels.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm saying, what kind of car do you drive? So these are the labels of the numbers that people pick. And the reason it's not a histogram is are these classes? Are there any classes? No, it's this many 1s, this many 2s, just like this many BMWs, this many Hyundais.
Because nobody can pick 1.5 or whatever.
Exactly. Well, one smartass, and this would be me, put in there 1.14, and I appreciate that because it didn't say a whole number. I'm surprised it hasn't happened before today. If I were my own student, I would have probably done that. I would have said pi. Deal with it. So I just took yours and rounded it down. I could have made a little special category for you, but I didn't. But I appreciate that. Is everybody cool with that? You guys see the difference? So histogram classes, true numbers. This, if I divide 6 by 2, does it really tell me something? Are those people that pick 6 3 times as good as the ones that pick no? So it's not really numerical data, is it? You're going to say, well, you just said pick a number, but it's not really numerical. It's more labels. It's more symbols that you chose. You with me? Okay, that's interesting. If you don't think so, that's all right. I don't take it personal. I want to show you, here's Gallup. And right now they don't have, they kind of track like the election right now according to Gallup polls. Romney's leading Obama by 1%. But I wanted to show you, here's one that's interesting. Exercise has bigger emotional payoff for people with low income. So if you make less than $36,000 a year, this is a score that tells you how much better they feel. But what I really want to say, you could read all this if you really want to. I don't care too much about the study itself, to tell you honestly. What I care about is at the bottom of the page. Here's one reason why I love Gallup. They explain their survey methods. They explain how many people they talked to, how they got a hold of them. They talk about this weird little dude that we're going to learn in chapter 7. How do they come up with this plus or minus 0.3 percentage points? So forth. So we're going to learn how to do that ourselves later in the class. So that's what I love about Gallup. They give you the whole backstory. And you have to do this if you want to be taken seriously. Right? You just give me a number, I'm like, how'd you get that? How many people did you talk to? What the hell? But most people don't know statistics. You're like, really? 87%? Really? Holy shit, let me go do something about it. You don't have a clue what the hell that dude. Who did you talk to? You talk to just people walking by? You kind of just follow what I'm saying? You're like, whatever, Jeff. I'm trying. But I will come back to Gallup a few times, especially when we start to learn how to do some of this math ourselves, and we can actually get what they got, and we can see how they got it. All right. So what I want us to do today is a little practice from what we did last time. So hopefully that's not a crazy number of people that weren't here. I think the room was pretty full, so I think almost everybody was here. So I got histogram practice for you guys. So kind of stepped it out. This is exactly what the quiz would look like. And what it would look like on a test would be basically the same. And I've given you data, 50 heights in inches that you guys input into that survey. So if you need to borrow a calculator, they're up here. I always try to give at least one, if not two, quizzes before every test. It all just depends on how much time we got. Sorry, man. I think I'm out of calculator. So if you didn't get a calculator, you definitely want to work with somebody. It's okay if you want to work with others. Feel free. I've lost count. Let's see that.
Okay.
That's good. Is that a Punisher shirt? Some of those?
No,
No?
it's Magic.
Who is it?
Magic.
Magic.
Card game Magic.
I was like, it doesn't look like that, but that's the only
No,
thing I
it's-
know it might be.
it's-
The card, the gathering.
Yeah.
Ever been to a restaurant down in Goldfish? There's a restaurant that's down. I think they do play that game there sometimes.
Really?
It's like their whole purpose. They had a big fire a while back and they had to close down.
I have heard.
No? Oh, sorry. So be careful. Hopefully.
I know there's shops they sell like soda and stuff that are related to it, but I don't know anything about a restaurant.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I might be talking Goldfish.
I don't know.
I thought they were
You're probably
connected
right.
somehow with that game.
It's pretty big community. You're probably right, but I have to know that.
I need some help.
How do you fix the list again? Did you get that?
Edit. And now you can.
You just go up to L1 and clear.
So if your lists are weird,
Error argument. I was trying to clear the list. Clear the list.
oh, you need to tell it to clear. Okay, tell it to clear list.
How do you get here?
L1,
Press stat?
L2, whatever.
Okay.
Edit?
Yeah, tell it which list to
Enter?
clear.
Try it, please.
Oh.
And then
Wait, where is
go up to
L1 on
L1.
I
this?
hit clear.
And hit clear.
Oh, right here. Got it.
And then go back down.
Aw.
Down. And now just enter
So look on with somebody. Yes.
all the numbers, yeah.
Oh, okay. How are y'all doing? Is everybody's calculator cooperating? That's the one that's done it.
What? How did you enter the information? Just top to bottom.
Take it, sir. Doesn't matter. 'cause we're gonna
6'4".
sort- Yeah.
It's
As long as you
72.
get them all in there.
6 feet tall.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, just that. Just that. Ah.
So it's 70, right?
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. So just go ahead and put Just go ahead and start tonight's
70
meeting.
is 5.
All those in. That's the most exciting part of statistics. And then let me know when you're done with it.
Between 5 to 12, like you said. I don't remember.
Okay, thank you. Oh, go back in, stat, edit. It is a little anticlimactic, but it doesn't show you there, it just does it in the list. So now they should all be in order. Pi minus slope. Yeah. So it's not a quiz, so I'll put some things up here you'll need. Class width is range divided by number of classes. High minus low. What's up, sorry?
How do you go back to the main screen? You want to like add to it?
Oh, goes that. Oh, you're there.
No, I mean main screen where it's like add.
That's
This
it.
is the main screen. Oh, okay.
These need to all be in one list. Everybody understand you're putting all these in one list. You with me? Don't put L1, L2, L3. The only time you use L1 and L2 and maybe some more is if you had more than one variable. We have one, age. I just didn't want to put this long ass column of ages.
Wait, so for the range, high minus low, the highest number here versus the lowest number?
Exactly. Cool. So how far you've got to cover. High minus low tells you the distance.
Is there a way on this that I can just find the highest number?
Yeah, sort the list.
Stat, sort.
Yeah, sort A, and then tell it L1. Cool. Well, that gets that. I think if you hit
Okay, so 76 minus 56. Over the number of classes.
To sort, I'm pretty sure.
Is the number of classes like a number that you
Stat,
need to do?
and then sort A.
5, okay. So you got
And then
25.
Second, and then the number 1, because L1 is above that.
4. Pick 5.
And then,
Okay. 76 minus 56.
I didn't do that.
and then second, and then the number 1, because above that is L1. That's what you want. Now enter. You don't have to close.
You could do 4 and then have your
And
class
now,
width be 5.
when we go back to stat and edit, it'll
Yeah,
be
but,
sorted
I didn't even realize beforehand.
in small list to bigger or in ascending order.
You're either gonna have like 1 more class.
Yeah, so as you go down, the numbers will get bigger and bigger and bigger.
That's why that's put the nothing code. Sorted. That's why I did sorted. Now number 2, you go to P, or S, please.
Now choose the number of classes you want to use and then find the class width.
Oh, you made this.
And by number of classes,
Got you, so make it 72.
I don't know whether
That's the way you're gonna either get more class, or what you want to do is just bump that.
So the first one is 56 to
All right, guys, let me make sure we're on the right track.
Bless you.
What did we get for the range? What's the high number?
76.
76 and the low? 56. And number of classes you probably picked?
50.
Number of classes 5. Anybody pick something different than 5? You might have. Is 4 enough? It's got to be from 5 to 12. So let's take 5. I think that's what most of us probably are going to do or did. Anytime this goes in perfectly, you're going to have a little bit of weirdness with your classes. And let me show you what's going to happen. So to make the classes, where do you want to start? 56. Now the width is 4, so what's the number here? What's the next class start at? 60. So what's this got to be? 59. Cool. And then I can just keep adding 4, 4. You can do it, Jeff. There you go. And then here you add 4, 4, 4. But notice here, if you add 4, what's kind of wrong there? The highest the highest height was 76. So I either have to have another class, but what we normally do is we go ahead and take that up to 76. It's the only time you can break that width. Because what is that one data point that last class can't catch? It's right next to that class. So that class just says, get in here. You with me? So you could make one more class if you really wanted to, but what's normally done is that last class just sucks it in. Yes, ma'am?
You can't start it at 55?
You could,
Okay.
certainly. And then it'll be even a little worse at the end though.
No, mine got, I did.
What was your width
well,
though?
See, I didn't do that.
Oh, so your width here is actually 5. Yeah, so you actually, you said you were wanting a width of 4, but see, you can't look this way to see the width, you have to look this way. That starts at 55, the next one starts at 60, so how wide are they apart? 5 apart, not 4. Yeah, cool. Yeah. You actually did involves logarithms. You take logarithms of the sample size, you get a feel, and then you round it from there, so there's still a little subjectivity. But I just don't do it.
So how would I go about doing
I think they actually have the process in.
from the book?
Remember, let me see. Some books do.
What is a relative frequency distribution?
I don't think this book
Is it a
does.
percentage?
No, I can't remember. It's been a while. But it's not just natural on the sample size. Something more involved.
72s are there.
Because I never used it.
5 divided by 60.
You know, for example, this big 5 or 6.
Oh, for
there are
all the
20
things
more
you
on
got,
my
right?
Yeah,
list,
I think it's
the
okay.
larger the sample
Just
gets.
kinda figure it out.
Yeah. Remember now, if you do it the book way, you've got to use class boundaries. You've got to start at 55 and a half. No, definitely don't start at 0. It's okay to have that scale broken because it's understood that you're going to where your data is.
What?
So you're not hiding anything, you're just going to where your data is.
It's fine.
That's something that you get to pick. You pick how many classes you want to use. It's from 5 to 12. You use fewer classes for a smaller sample, more classes for a bigger sample. So if I had a sample of 1,000, I definitely use 11 or 12. But we've only got a sample of 50, so I'd use 5 or 6. And I figured most people would probably use 5. Exactly. Yep. It's just a tally. How many are there? Oh, each class.
No.
Do you get 8?
For the second group? Yeah.
So now you will have to do the boundaries. This is 55.5. This is 59.5. So you start at 55.5, and then you just go up by 4 since that's your width. And then you would make this first one be up this high. Because I'm asking for frequency, so you have to use these numbers here. So you put a scale here, you can get this first class will go up to 2, next one go up to 8, so forth. Cool. Oh, sure. Oh, okay. So that was the distribution of random numbers.
How do I do that?